Hi, welcome to Attempted Living. Today we're going to talk about abusive relationship, and this is going to be the first kind of video where I'm going to talk about my struggles in life presently. So today, February 2019, this is something that I'm currently going through. So the topic is abusive relationship. What we're going to do is look at some examples of what an abusive relationship is. And then we are going to see how we can use the definition of an abusive relationship to diagnose things in reality which are abusive. Okay, so let's define what an abusive relationship is. Looking at this Psychology Today article, we see that the abuser is someone that is driven by insecurity and an expectation of inconsistency, both real and perceived. There's a effort to gain value through domination and control. So okay, let's make notes here. Abuser acts out of fear and insecurity. Abuser uses domination and control. The abuser is in fact weak, which is why he or she abuses in the first place, to maintain a sense of control. The victim is also insecure for similar reasons, has little sense of social value, but makes an effort to establish that value by losing himself to the demand for submission. The fear that feeds this insecurity is also about not being lovable or loved, and there's a willingness to accept the inconsistency of the abuser's attention for the sake of being loved. Okay. So, what should we write here? Victim says in relationship to feel loved, tries to establish social value through submission to abuse. Okay. What else? So what do abusive relationships look like? It's not always slapped around. It could be social abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, financial abuse, etc. Okay, so abuse takes many forms. It can be social, emotional, sexual, financial, etc. Okay? Abuse is about a dynamic of extremes, domination, and submission. It's about giving and withholding also in the extreme. Okay. About giving and withholding in the extreme. Domination and submission are elements of an abusive relationship. Okay? Cool. So, let's take a look at another article to get a sense of more what is abusive relationships. So here it says, healthy relationships have respect and trust. Abusive relationships don't have these qualities. Instead, they have mistreatment, disrespect, jealousy, controlling behavior, or physical violence. Okay, so let's add this to our notes. Mistreatment, and then healthy relationship is respect and trust. Okay, great. Mistreatment, disrespect, intense jealousy, controlling behavior, physical violence are all examples of abuse. Looking more here. Physical abuse is clear. Emotional abuse is harder to find. Signs of abusive relationships. Physically harms you in any way. Tries to control different aspects of your life. Okay, I like this as a good definition of what else is abusive relationships. Controlling aspects of your life, like how you dress, which is here, such as how you dress, who you hang out with, and what you say. Okay, let's add that too. Who you hang out with, what you say. Okay, cool. And then let's go back here. Okay. Humiliates you, makes you feel unworthy, threatens to harm you if you leave the relationship, twists the truth to make you feel you are to blame, demands to know where you are at all times, and constantly becomes jealous if you try to do anything different, to spend time with your friends. Okay, cool. Let me copy paste each of those things over. Okay, so signs that you are being abused: unexplained bruises or marks, excessive guilt or shame for no apparent reason, secrecy or withdrawal from friends and family, avoidance of school or social events with excuses that don't seem to make any sense. Okay, let me copy paste these over as well. Okay, so now we have a pretty good list of what makes an abusive relationship. Let me add even more, because so this is how I approach most things. I'm very comprehensive as possible. So third website to get even more data on what an abusive relationship is. Society normalizes unhealthy behavior, so people may not understand that the relationship is abusive. So society approved. Oftentimes a abusive relationship is society approved abuse. That's why it persists. If it wasn't approved by society, then it would have been stopped by society. Self-esteem is destroyed by emotional abuse. Cycle of abuse, where there's a makeup after your abusive incident. It's dangerous to leave, very dangerous. So let's see if there are things here that already have those kinds of controlling, violence. Let's add dangerous to leave. Okay, we already added society approved, and then the makeup phase. Abuser promises to treat victim better. This is an important one. Society perpetuates a ride or die mindset. Unhealthy or abusive relationships stay because they feel pressure to not give up, to forgive and forget, or ride it out. Because this is what pop culture glamorizes people. So, social pressure to not give up. Let's add this to our list. To society approved abuse, pressure to not give up, forgive and forget, or write it out. Okay, great. They feel personally responsible for their partner or their behavior. Blame placed on victim for outcomes. Okay. They believe that if they stick it out, it might change. Social pressure, blah, blah, blah. They share life together. Fear of how others will react. Sure, okay. I think we have enough for me to get to my main point, which is, okay, we've kind of listed out a lot of details that make up an abusive relationship. So now, what I want to see is, what things do I have relationships with? I have, why is this? I have relationships with family, friends, government, strangers, career, like job. Okay, cool. So let's go down this list and see how many of these relationships are abusive. I'm going to skip the details of this and just take my word for my family is abusive. So now let's talk about friends. Okay. So are my friends abusive? Let's see. Are they acting out of fear and insecurity? And do they use domination control? Well, if I don't interact with them at all, then no. They kind of just let me live my own life. But that's not a friend. That's a stranger. A stranger is someone who just kind of lets you live your life while they live theirs. So strangers, they pass at the first 2 points. Do I stay in a relationship with strangers to submit myself to their abuse? Nope, that doesn't make sense. Do strangers withhold extreme things? Not really. Do strangers exhibit intense jealousy, controlling behavior, physical violence? I mean, it's random whether that happens based on luck. Is it dangerous to leave? No. It's seeming like strangers are not abusive. However, for friends, it seems like, I mean, I would definitely stay in a relationship with friends to feel loved. That's definitely true. And if they were abusive to me and I didn't have that many friends, then I might consider staying with them if I was having really low self-esteem, or I was in a well, okay, let's go to the main point, which is job. Let's go to job. Okay, so in society, I need to have a job in order to have social value. So this is a yes. And jobs involve social, emotional, financial, for the most part. You have to talk to people, there's emotions involved, and it has a financial impact on your life. So is it giving and withholding in the extreme? It has been for me, because if you do not give your manager and the company everything, then they will fire you and take away the financial aspect. There's a lot of controlling behavior that's involved, and in my case, lots of mistreatment and disrespect, because managers typically, in my experience, have not respected employees. So maybe this is employer-based, because I know that not all employers are abusive. So there are, let's see. This is, so employer-based, yes or no. Okay. What about the idea of employment? capitalism, where there's supply and demand, and if you don't have money, you starve and die. So let's just do money. So I have a relationship with money, and there's control involved. There's social value to having money. It's pretty extreme. If you have money, you get service. If you don't have money in the world, you don't get service. It's dangerous to not have money. Money says you'll be treated better if you make more money. If you don't have money, you feel like shit. The less money you have, the more likely you are to move to a dangerous area. So it does threaten to harm you if you don't have enough money. So there's a threat to life if you don't serve it enough. Frequently humiliates. We talked about this. Twisted truth. Well, yeah, society says that if you have not a lot of money, then that's your fault. So it's society approved abuse. And society says you should keep trying to earn money. You should forgive how money has caused you pain and just continue to ride it out. And if you don't earn enough money, then we blame the victim, the person, for not earning enough money. And there's a huge amount of guilt and shame for not earning enough money. There's withdrawal from friends and family, both from the shame and guilt, and like literally you don't have the money to go socialize. So you avoid things because you just literally don't have enough money to actually do that. Does money give respect and trust? No, it's an inanimate object, and it could care less about who you are. So yes, money is really abusive. Okay, so since money is acquired through jobs, I come to think that getting a job is abusive. So I hate getting a job because I feel it perpetuates the abusive cycle structure of money. Government, I want to say, is also yes, because if you don't, it uses domination control, which comes, like, the more fear and insecurity the government has, the more domination control it demands. It abuses through all forms, is extreme because you're either in jail with nothing or you're out in the world with many options. There is mistreatment and disrespect. That's pretty common, from like if you're caught in the wrong place and you get processed by the government, you could be mistreated along the way with their controlling behavior through physical violence. The government controls how you dress because that impacts how likely you are to be randomly targeted by their enforcement personnel. who you hang out with. I guess this is like immigration, maybe. What you say. Uh, yeah, I mean, there are laws against certain speech. It's dangerous to leave. Is it dangerous to leave? I guess you could go to another country, but other countries may not let you stay for that long, so you have to come back. So I guess it kind of is dangerous to leave. Threatens to harm you? Yes, that's common. That's what all the laws are, right? If you do this, then you will be punished in this way. It is society, and you're expected to participate in government. So, government is fairly abusive. Friends, well, I guess this is actually conditional. Some friends are abusive. Some are not. I guess I don't have any healthy friend relationships. So that's why I feel like my world is full of abuse because, I don't want to throw friends under the bus that have been helpful to me in the past. What I want to say by this statement that I don't have any healthy friend relationships that are sustained over time, consistently, that we check in on each other frequently, and this has happened at least for a couple years, and we really understand each other. I guess now that I'm writing this down, I could potentially think of a couple people who I could reach out to, theoretically. Maybe I should go reach out to them. Because I've been feeling like everything is abusive. And I'm tired of being abused. And it would be nice to feel the warmth of a healthy relationship. Okay, well, this is a look into my head, my life. I hope you benefit from seeing my struggle.